Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. Happy National Hangover Day. Happy New Year, everybody. I know I was hurting today. And the Raiders, like always, have been a lot of things this season. Boring, not one of them. They go against the best defense in football, put up insane numbers, go to overtime, but in the end, the Raiders fall to the 49ers 37-34. Story of two quarterbacks that no one thought would be in this position at the beginning of the season. The legend of Brock Purdy is well established. He's now 4-0 as a Niners quarterback. And the start of potentially another legend, Jarrett Stidham, off the bench, career backup, 5th-round draft pick, 23 of 34, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. But an incredible performance off the bench by Jarrett Stidham in his first start.
Yeah, fucking Studham, baby. You know, what I was looking for is just consistency. I was looking for, okay, if you scored 17 points in the first half, let's see how many we can score. Just don't get blanked. Get first downs, move the ball, because honestly, previously in previous games, a lot of times all we needed is to move the ball a little bit, eat up more clock and more time, be able to sustain drives. And we did a lot more than that, man. We had a lot more than that. He looked good. We got eliminated from the playoffs with the loss. I mean, we needed a lot of shit to happen next week for us to go in. But honestly, look, before we go any further, I am in Solvang right now. And I got to say, Kyle at
in
Tower
Solvang?
Pizza, Solvang, that's where I am.
I thought that was a typo when you texted me. I'm like, that can't be
right.
No,
I'm here right now.
Like a Ukrainian prison. What's Solvang?
Kyle in Tower Pizza took excellent care of me. If you're ever in Solvang, you got to go to Tower Pizza, and that's for Kyle. Tell him he's a big Raider fan, and tell him that the Autumn Windbag sent you.
Done deal. Done deal. Let's go through Stidham. Let's open with him. He's the story. He was the big story all week long. Carr dismissed, whatever word we're using for it. No longer in the building. Stidham now, next man up. The 3 touchdown passes, all very different, which was nice to see, right? It wasn't like, I think this goes to show too, like the advantage, he's like how great it's been for him being in Josh McDaniels' system this is his 4th season, right? 4 seasons in the same system, like everything was open to him. The first touchdown, Darren Waller, just a great route, wide open, hit him in stride, end zone.
Hit him in stride, yeah.
Simple stuff, right? The second touchdown, Davante Adams. Davante was getting PI'd. He was completely covered. Stidham made a really good throw, and then Davante made a great catch. I think it was Ward was all over him.
Ridiculous catch.
Unbelievable catch. And only his second best catch of the day, by the way. We'll get to that as we go on. And then the third touchdown pass, what was the third one? I forgot off the top of my head. It was to Davante.
It was the broken play where he leaked out.
Yeah, that was the one where Stidham like gets out of trouble, right? Shows his mobility, gets open, and if you give Davante Adams that much time, like just to like get free, he was just completely wide open, run after the catch, something like a 60-yard or something like that. 3 really good touchdown passes by Jarrett Stidham, and all different, right? One just like cookie cutter, no problem, hit it. The other one, a good throw, knowing you have the best wide receiver in football, let him make a play. The other one,
let him get down there and make a play.
Buy time with your feet, get out of the pocket, and then let Davante do the rest.
Right. What we've seen a lot is, not every time, but a lot is the Waller throw underthrown a little bit.
Yeah.
If it worked for Josh Jacobs, it's going to work for me too. We've that broken play to Davante, we've seen that get thrown away, and we're like, me having watched a lot of game film, I've seen those types of throws where somebody was open on a broken play, but the quarterback was just not willing to stay in throw mode long enough. Mm-hmm. The couple of plays where he was almost Stidham was almost sacked, and he fought through it. Whereas previously, we've seen that cover up and huddle down type of thing. And that throw to Davante in the corner, I've seen that throw. You've seen that throw airmailed. I don't know how many times.
Mm-hmm.
Is Stidham better than who we had previously? I don't know if he's as talented. I don't know if we need him to be as talented. I think the consistency thing is the bigger deal. We scored 17 in the first half. We scored 17 in the second half against the number one team in the league defensively. I think it's a good place to start.
Each team scored a touchdown in every quarter.
Yeah.
That's how wild this game was.
It's one of those things where, like I said before, you can game plan around talent. You can't game plan around inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. So the 2 interceptions by Stidham, the last one hit as he's thrown. Bosa's blowing up Colton Miller, hit as he's thrown. We've seen Carr throw a couple interceptions like that too. When you're just you guys getting blown up, you throw a pick. The other pick, same thing. Pressure got to him. Ball ended up floating. Both interceptions were less like bad decision and more like under duress, right?
Yeah.
So like his decision making was pretty on point all game. But he did. But I guess I was probably the only real thing I can say that he struggled with in this game was he didn't always get out from. He was decently getting out from under pressure a lot of times, a lot of good scrambles. But when he didn't, it was very costly.
Yeah, and the thing is that's just going to come with more time and more live reps. Maybe changing your arm angle a little bit and not get your ball knocked down like that. Just having that pocket presence when you're sensing that your own tackle's back coming towards your face. Just a couple things like that. And honestly, look, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and bang on our old quarterback for throwing those same ones and not bang on Stidham. Stidham has to take care of the ball. He has to know better than he has to develop those intricacies that come with time. Unfortunately, he hasn't had a lot of time, and maybe with more snaps he gets better at it. We'll see over time, but right now, I'm not going to give him too much of a pass for those. It happens.
And that's the reverse, right? Like he's getting a ton of time in McDaniels' system, like on practice reps with the book, but not live reps under duress, right? He's wearing a red jersey doing McDaniels' system. He's not doing McDaniels' system with fucking Bosa like screaming down his throat, right? And so I think that's something you really just can't replace. The number one thing I think everyone can agree where Jarrett Stidham is a massive improvement over Derek Carr. Kennedy Stidham. And that's the saddest part. That was the best part about every single time. Every single time Jarrett threw a touchdown, they shot a picture of Stidham's wife in the stands. Oh my God. Have you been to our Instagram yet?
Yes. Listen to me.
Dude.
I tweeted out fucking Stidham with that BDE. I wasn't talking about his play on the field. I was talking about his play in the field, if you know what I mean. Dude, those were the baddies that were with her at the game.
Mm-hmm. She's a fucking dime. She's not afraid to show it. God,
bro, why should she? Why should she be? And she's already shit out a kid looking like that.
That's a newborn, and she's already down like that. And she's not even really your style, Soto. I know how you like them thick.
Bro, hot chicks are hot chicks, bro. It's the confidence. I'm telling you, it's the confidence, man. He's got that fucking BDE, and it transfers onto the field. You can tell.
I love that. I love the little tube top action on a chick.
Oh God, it's with those fucking big pants and the fucking clunky shoes. Makes me feel like I'm back in high school again.
If you can't get anything to get you over Derek Carr, Kennedy Stidham. That's how you do it. God, she's gorgeous.
Lovely lady,
dude. What a classic.
But
hey, keep that QB happy, baby. Keep our QB happy. So a little bit more on Stidham, and then we'll move on because this is the defense that really fucked this team again. It's hard to say because this is the last year of his contract, right? He's still on his rookie deal. This is year 4. I don't think there's anything he can do in this game or the next game, in just the 2 games he has, that's going to make me say, okay, he's definitely the guy. He's definitely not the guy. It's 2 games. There's nothing he can do that's not going to make me say, we still got to find a true awesome QB1. But let's say he plays next week about as well as he played this week, right? Just to, not perfect. We know what he needs to work on, but really well off the bench.
Yeah, let's say we lose another shootout. Let's say we lose another shootout. Okay, we know the defense is bad.
He gets 3 touchdowns, a pick, 350 yards next week, regardless of the score, right? Let's say he plays not perfect, but pretty well, like today. How big is your hard on for getting a new quarterback? Are you like, okay, we still got to commit everything to it? Are you like, we couldn't find a good guy. Let's see what Stidham can do, because he's going to be a free agent. So especially if he plays well next week again, he's going to have some suitors, right? So we're going to have to make a decision on, like, I think for sure we want him in the building at least as a backup with how well he's played off the bench today. So what do you know what I'm getting at, right? How hard do we have to keep Stidham versus how hard do we keep looking?
Honestly, Stidham is, I think, very hard about making Stidham.
All right, so you're breaking up. This is how I look at it. We keep him for sure. And I think Stidham is smart enough to know that getting under the system of McDaniels.
All right, I'm back.
You're back. All right, go ahead.
You get me? You got me?
Go.
All right, so I'm thinking if we consider him for a bridge quarterback, could consider him for a bridge quarterback and draft one young, and the best player wins. The best player wins out. Because that's ultimately, I've been saying, and I keep beating this dead horse. If you're consistent, even though you're not as talented, you can put a game plan together and know the guy's going to run it. Once the more talented, quote unquote talented younger player catches up familiarity wise, then you can play him, whether it's week 4, 8, or year 2 or year 3. It doesn't matter. As long as he gets better and he has a higher ceiling, you have a guy that you can game plan with to still keep you and win games. The way he played today, he can win games for you. Yeah. He just needs an opportunity. We need to get better defensively. We need to have those same weapons around him. Is he going to be able to handle winning games without Waller and Renfrow? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he does need that talent around him to do it. But yeah, if he plays well again next week, I mean, we could be looking at our bridge quarterback for the next year or two.
Okay, so that's Stidham. He was the big story leading up, obviously. So big story today, but the long-term story, the major issue is still this Raiders defense, giving up 37 points to Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey, 19 carries, 121 yards and a touchdown. Just another atrocious performance by the defense. No sacks. We did get an interception, which was nice. You don't see that very often. But it just feels like every single player on this defense took a step back this season, with the exception of like Max Crosby. Like even like Nate Hobbs, he's kind of struggled being outside, not really being, not being as much in nickel. Trevon Merrick, we were really high on as a rookie safety. He's gotten worse. Obviously Chandler Jones, giant waste of money. He was on IR. Denzel Perryman on IR. I think he was missed a lot on this one. Just another atrocious performance by the 49ers. I swear, like Aiyuk was open every single play of that last drive of regulation. It was just too easy.
This is like truer words have never been spoken. London Raider. Who the fuck is 56? We just keep getting linebackers from the bus station. Yeah. Pretty much, dude. Pretty much. You look like a solid, sturdy young man. Mm-hmm. How would you like to play professional football?
Right? You look good coming off the bus. Want to come on our bus? Right? The Raiders bus?
Jeez.
Can you imagine that's like just like Graham just sitting there at the bus stop in Las Vegas, just trying to see the biggest guy coming off? All right.
Whoa. Biggest guy, what? Yeah, man. Hobbs had a tough time. We just need to get better, man. That's the thing, is we just need more talent defensively. We've said it before. It's not like it's any type of surprise. We're just not talented defensively. And that incorporates not being good, because honestly, like, you can't be like untalented and be a good defense. You still have to have talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just not talented defense. We need more talent. And a lot of those picks that we missed on, and a lot of those picks that we didn't draft. Remember, we went to that. If you guys watched our video about the Gruden Mayock era, we're looking left and right at all pros and shit, like on the defensive side, and we're like, Jesus Christ, we could have had a fucking sick defense if we got half of those, a third of those guys. But honestly, yeah, man. I mean, this next, it seems like, ooh, there's a chick right here. It seems like,
she's looking at
it seems like, I know
she's got a kid, so she knows she fucked.
And she's fucking ready to fucking pop. So look, it seems like we made our decision on the offensive line. I think we may draft a young guy early, maybe first or second day, but I don't think we're gonna go big free agent wise on the offensive line. If we do that, because I don't think the offensive line was a problem today. They weren't a problem, against New England's front, really. They weren't that big of a problem, I don't think, against Pittsburgh's front. So I think they're playing not terrible, but we can maybe get a little bit better on the tackle on the right side, and just more depth. But I think we need to go heavy defense, man. We need to get more talent in there, because honestly, it's been a big problem of ours, and not the only problem, but it's been a big problem.
Jarrett Stidham had as many tackles as Max Crosby and Amik Robertson today. 2. He got both the tackles. Hey, that's another secret about him we didn't know he had. He's a great tackler after he throws a pick. He's 2 for 2.
He has those mud flaps too, which are fucking impressive.
Right? They look like Derek Carr 2 seasons ago, just like the flowing mane a little bit. Yeah, so like big decisions, and that's the whole thing. Is like, look,
hang on a second. Silver and black beatdown. Let me guess. Are you a Kardashian?
Silver and black beatdown, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Wait till there's tape in him, he'll be destroyed. I mean, I'm not going to say he'll be destroyed, but I think that's very true. When there's tape on a guy, it's very different. Even just from the first half to the second half, Stidham didn't have as much success scrambling because they adjusted, right? They're like, all right, we gotta change a little bit and not let him beat us with his feet as much. So like even that like halftime adjustment, you saw him he still played well, but semi corralled. That's a very true statement. I know it's sounding like car love, but that's a true statement, Soto. Like when a guy comes off with no tape on him, like that's a very real advantage for him.
Yeah, Boogie made a good point here. We should throw Stidham and Renfrow on defense. They're fucking good tacklers.
Davante Adams. Congratulations to the man. Davante Adams. 1,443 receiving yards. It's now the Raiders' single season record, passing the great Mr. Raider, Tim Brown. Giant congratulations, Davante.
Same amount of games, same number of games, 16.
Same number of games, right? He isn't on game 17 yet. So in an actual same, apples to apples, Davante Adams is now your Raiders leading single season receiving yardage guy. Congrats.
Yeah, man. Good for him. Good for him. He definitely showed that he's the fucking man.
He was bodying DBs all day.
If your last name was Ward, you were getting cooked by Adams today.
7 receptions, 153 yards, averaging 22 per reception, 2 touchdowns. He had that 60-yarder, 10 targets. That's twice as much as the next guy. Darren Waller had 5. Josh Jacobs had 5. Hunter Renfrow still semi-underutilized with 4. He had 3 receptions for just 19 yards, but there was a couple good first downs in there for him. Darren Waller seemed to be finding his stroke again. 3 receptions, 72 yards, and that wide open touchdown.
Steve the Cockfighter 1. If Stidham would have started all year, the Raiders would be a playoff team. He runs, stands and take hits, makes throws. The Raiders should play in shootouts every week if the offense can perform.
I like how Steve the Cockfighter 1, like Was Steve the cockfighter already taken?
I think he wants to make sure he's. I think he wants to make sure he's the first one, so people have to put Steve the cockfighter too.
After, just twice, half as good. Josh Jacobs, good game. 17 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Not a great game, but a good game. He got beat up a little bit. He got taken out of the game in the first half, and he missed a whole drive in the second half as well. Finished the game though, but he wants
that rushing record, baby.
Right. Well, we're starting to get those flashbacks, right? Where every single year he gets hurt, you're just like, don't do it. But he finished the game, 17 carries.
Can I say one thing? I'm very impressed with Davante Adams going out there and just thick-dicking everybody in the 49ers defense, because people had some questions about if Davante was a real Raider. He's not a real Raider. And I'm like, dude, he's a professional. He's going to go out there and he's going to fucking give it his all. And if tonight didn't prove to you guys that you got to make sure to put some respect on that man, then I don't know what.
Josh McDaniels, I thought, called a pretty good game today. It's pretty simple. Like the same kind of issues arose. Like started off really hot, aggressive, opened the playbook, looked good. Got a little conservative in the second half a little bit, and it cost us. No real major gaps. The only one I can think of was that 4th and inches on the goal line where Jacobs got stuffed. I mean, one, the interior O-line just collapsed. Just interior O-line problems. They fell apart. But, dude, it's 4th and inches. Like, QB sneak it. That's like a 90% success rate on 4th and inches. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to kill people for those. If you punt, okay, fine. If you go for it, okay, fine. I'm not going to second guess people on those because
I like the call going for it. I just didn't like the play call.
Yeah.
You QB sneak it, no brainer, right? Like, especially with the.
Well, I mean, you also have to take a look at. You have to take a look at the defense and how the defense is lined up. If their freaking stout ass fucking interior defense is just piling up in the middle, I mean, maybe you can run something a little bit different. I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, it was like a little bit of a head scratcher, honestly.
Otherwise, pretty decent game by McDaniels. Just kind of the same, getting conservative with the lead, like always. And it's 5th game that we've had a 10-point lead and lost it. Can we talk about that face mask on Hunter Renfrow when the referees?
God damn.
They were like,
dude, they didn't call it right away. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me?
He like clotheslined him. Like grabbed his face mask, clotheslined him. Like every chiropractor in America who saw that was just like, oh God, like, oh Jesus, his vertebrae has been turned into a pretzel.
They're all flipping their cards like, here, I can help you with that.
Right. And the refs are just kind of like looking at each other. They're like, okay, I guess we have to throw a flag here. It's like the refs have been like telling everybody it's open season to do whatever the fuck you want to Hunter Renfrow since he's been in the league. Like it literally takes him getting almost decapitated for a ref to be like, okay, that's illegal. You can't do that to Hunter.
The funniest thing is he pops up and he's like, dude, like, what the fuck?
You see the refs like kind of looking at each other, like their hand on their flag, like, I mean, face mask? Was it that bad?
They're playing a flag chicken. Like, all right, are you gonna throw it? I'm not gonna throw it. Are you gonna throw it? All right, fine, I'll throw it. I lost.
Right? They're gonna get so pissed at us for throwing a flag in advantage of Hunter Renfrow. We better not do it. Someone else do it.
Yeah, that was a pretty egregious face mask. I've seen guys, you know what? To unfazed truth, to his point, we've seen people thrown out for that type of. That wasn't like I'm tackling the guy and trying to get him down and I hit his. That was like I'm reaching out for the only thing I can grab to bring him down. And, people have been kicked out for that before.
Especially with a guy who's been out for concussion this season, a guy that was on IR this season. You're like, oh, yeah, let's just turn his head 180 degrees for fun. God, he's a badass.
Yeah, he is, dude. He had a couple nice catches, or one nice catch. And it was a nice on-time throw. It just goes to show you, man, just the comfort level in the offense, the ball getting out on time, just the moxie to be able to stand in the pocket when people are grabbing at you and still push the ball down the field, keep your head up when you're scrambling. Like, You don't have to be necessarily like, dude, Joe Montana, he was never like the most physically gifted quarterback out there, but he was on time. He got the ball where it needed to go. He happened to have fucking one of the best receivers of all time, if not the best. But we got a pretty damn good one too. So I wouldn't put it past the Raiders, moving forward with Stidham if he keeps playing well. Again, how's that going to pan out long term? We don't know. People can say all they want. Oh, it's his first start, the tape, and this and that, and blah blah blah. But we don't know. This could actually be him. See, people could have said that with Kurt Warner or something like that. Not to say he's going to be Kurt Warner, but the same thing could have been said with him or Dak Prescott when he started his first game. Instead of what the fuck's his name? Tony Romo. But it's like, come on, man. You like, just like I can't say he's going to be a Hall of Famer. People can't say that he's shit. It was just because it was his first game.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep him in the building for sure, right?
Yes.
I feel like that's the no-brainer. I think this should be the strategy, and I've been not high on Ziegler at all so far this season. I mean, the draft it's up in the air, like it's too early to tell. I mean, it seems fine so far, right, with no first or second round pick. But I hated the Waller signing a season early. The Chandler Jones signing obviously sucked. I know you hated the paying Renfrow as much. I'm not that bad with it, but I know you didn't like it. This is what they should do though with Stidham, because he's going to be a free agent. You have to make it look, and actually do it, but you have to make it very public that you are looking for a star quarterback. You got to be like leaking it out to your writers that you have, that that you send your leaks to. You got to be calling every single agent. You got to be calling other GMs. You got to be doing everything to make it look like we're looking for someone over Stidham. So when you go to the negotiation table with Jarrett Stidham's guys, you're saying, hey, like, we want to keep you, but you're going to be our backup. We're going to pay you backup money. And then if he ends up being the starter, great. But you want that negotiation to be backup money on Stidham. And you need to be looking for a true proven QB1.
So Michael Rain III, how fucking, distinguished. Michael Rain triple sticks. Do the Raiders go get Brady or keep Stidham? Our good buddy Rory has an answer.
Anyone but Brady.
Rory, you didn't get over it, bro. Steve the Cockfighter 1, as opposed to Steve the Cockfighter 2. The only other team the Raiders scored more than 34 in regulation this year was against Houston. Stidham put up 34 against the number one defense in football. Yes, he did.
Let's answer this question. Do the Raiders go get Brady? And
oh shit.
Well,
sorry.
You drunk?
No. Phone slip.
Keeping Stidham is the goal. This is my thing on Brady, though. Brady is a massive front runner. Like, he's only played on teams that have amazing coaches, amazing defenses, real shots at being Super Bowl winners. Like, I can't possibly imagine him going to a team that's going to be probably 6-11 with the worst passing defense in football and being like, yeah, I'm going to go there for potentially the last game of, like, the last season of my career. I just can't picture that. Even with the Josh McDaniels and with Davante Adams and all those connections, right? It just doesn't seem like you want to go on a team that's shown this much dysfunction.
Yeah, I get it. He hasn't done it before. It all depends on what his market is. I mean, he's probably the most valuable to the Buccaneers right now, going back to the same team. I mean, if it doesn't seem like the Patriots are really that enamored with Mac Jones anymore, that's a possibility for him to go back. But honestly, I don't know that we break the bank or spend any type of real money for Brady if Stidham proves that he's competent. Because is Brady better than Jarrett Stidham? Yes, but how much better is he? Is he that much better that we cannot spend that money on defense or on offensive line and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But also one thing too is, signing a name like Brady will also attract other free agents to come to him. He's a great recruiter, just like Steve the Cockfighter 1. God damn you, Steve, reading my mind. Brady is a great recruiter. The offense will be elite with him. Draft defense. Brady can work the phones. Who doesn't want to play with Brady in Vegas? That's a good point too. A newly single Tom Brady in Vegas is a recipe for chlamydia.
I also wonder too, like, you're talking bridge quarterbacks, right? Like that would be it, right? Brady the bridge.
Well,
like,
yeah, Brady's 2 years. You're not a franchise quarterback for 2 years. You're a bridge.
Yeah.
You're gonna bridge to whatever's coming next.
But also, like, think of like all the calls that we'll have go our way with Brady as quarterback. Like,
dude,
all the
no one will be able to
passers
breathe
we're gonna
on.
get.
Dude, you know what? We better not do that because the world's gonna, like, the universe is gonna implode. Because what are NFL refs gonna do? It's Tom Brady, but he's a Raider.
Mm.
You know, the person you don't call, the person you give all the calls to on the team that you don't give any calls to.
I'm still gonna call him Tuck Rule Tommy, even if he's wearing silver and black. Unless he wins a Super Bowl for us. I'll change his name.
I'm gonna call him Tit Squeezing Tommy because he's gonna be in all the strip clubs.
I wonder if you're Tom Brady, do you go to strip clubs?
I think the strip clubs come to you.
That's what I'm saying. I think you have your private entertainment
delivered
to you at the penthouse of the Aria.
He's like Mr. Chow from Hangover. He just brings all the freaking hurrahs to him.
So long, gay boys. Yeah,
it's a purse, okay?
The quarterback thing is still weird for me because obviously, like, one good game from Stidham, right? Really good game. Can't wait to see him next week. Want to keep him in the building, all that shit, right? But it's too early to say he's the answer. It's way too early to say, like, okay, yeah, there we go. Let's do it. But then it's like, okay, the defense is so atrociously bad that
that's definitely our focus.
You have to throw everything at, dude. As bad as our defense is, I looked it up today, and it's even worse than we all thought. So, like, dude, here's the I'm showing the points per game on offense for teams, right? The bottom ones, right? Not only are we some of the worst giving up points per game team in football, we've played 6 of the 7 worst offenses in football. 6 of the 7 worst offenses we've played, and we're still the worst defense in football. Denver averaged 15.5 points per game. We played them twice. Indy, 16.5 points per game. Houston, 16.9. Pittsburgh, 17.6. Tennessee, 17.6. Then Tampa, who didn't play. Then Rams, 18.7. We've played 7 games. 7 games against 6 of the 7 worst offenses in football, and we're still the worst defense in football. Like, it is scary bad how much work this defense needs.
Where are we on this list?
Points per game? We are 12th. This is before today.
Today's game.
Yeah, this is before this game. So the 34 points don't add up to that.
Rafael Grijalva, it doesn't matter who is at quarterback when your defense is horrible. That's like saying, why am I going to brush my teeth right now? I'm just going to have to go to sleep and brush them again tomorrow.
That's like, my rule.
If you have issues, you address those issues. You don't just let an issue go because there's another issue there as well.
I think his point is Tom Brady, Derek Carr, Jarrett Stidham. It doesn't matter when the defense is this bad, right? Like,
we're not talking about this season anymore, though. That's the thing. I agree, but what we're doing is we're talking about, look, one thing that we did see today is we saw the offense move consistently, and we saw how the offense can work when somebody is comfortable running it. Mm-hmm. The offense seemed to flow a lot better. I think that's maybe why it seemed like we had a better called game by McDaniels. It's because it just looked smoother. Mm-hmm. 99 cents. What do you got?
JR the Barbarian, super sticker. Thanks, JR. Appreciate it. So this is what Jarrett Stidham had going for him today. Familiarity in the system, all the weapons healthy, and all on the field at the same time. That's happened like twice all season, right? Adams, Waller, Hunter, Jacobs. The best version of our O-line. O-line's still not great, but I think it's the best version that the O-line's going to be. Certainly much better than the first half of the season. So all those good things going for him. What he had going against him was the best defense in football, right? So it's like the gauge is against the best defense in football. And again, not perfect, but balled out most of the game. I'm really curious how he's going to look against the Chiefs. Another good defense, but not an amazing defense, and a different style of defense too.
Yeah, I think just the way that the 49ers play is they're bullies. They punish you.
Yeah.
And they're swarming. They're just in your grill, in your face, unapologetic. We're going to knock you in the mouth. We're going to make things hard for you. Mm-hmm. I think the way that the Chiefs play the football is we're going to try to trick you. There's no tricking involved with the 49ers defense. It's very straightforward, and they're just really good at doing what they do, and they're very physical. It's going to be a little bit more of a mental thing next week against the Chiefs. We'll definitely see a different if Stidham can move the ball a different way. But again, it's going to be another game where we're going to have to put up a lot of points because that friggin' guy on the other side likes to put up a lot of points too.
Yeah, Brock Purdy could put up 37 next week.
Jeez.
Hey, it'll be another fun shootout, right? Probably, right? That's Raiders are a lot of things, never boring. Two more things before we get out of here.
All right.
One more again on the defense to keep harping it. I'm still not convinced Patrick Graham is going to be the solution here. You're right. The talent is poor, but they're playing worse this season than last season. And you know how I am, right? It's like, what's your trajectory? Which direction is your stock portfolio going, right? Like maybe your stocks aren't doing great, but they're trending in the right direction. Hang on to them. You can get some value. Or, hey, like they're pretty good, but they're falling off really bad. Like maybe it's time to move on, sell while the value's still high, et cetera, right? With Patrick Graham, and not saying he is the problem, but basically everyone on the defense took a step back with the exception of like Max Crosby. And it was a lot of guys that are supposed to take traditionally that big leap second year, right? We had all these great rookies on defense last season. We're like, oh man, Diablo, Merrick, and Hobbs, like, wow, these guys got a lot of potential. Just wait till next year when they're not rookies anymore. They all took a step back. Like that really makes me worry that maybe Patrick Graham isn't getting the most out of these guys and they're not talented to begin with.
Yeah. One thing too is the majority of these guys are guys that were drafted for a different defensive scheme. We lost probably one of our best, probably our best player in our secondary and replaced him with a lot of guys that are on IR and that didn't play consistently. So that's another thing. We have our two linebackers that we played today. One was an undrafted rookie. The other one was, checking IDs at a titty bar last week. I get what you're saying. I just don't know that this is a fair critique of how the defense can look because of the personnel and just the lack of overall talent. And it was so bad because of the exodus of people that we had, especially in the secondary. Because Keyshawn Nixon and freaking Casey Hayward and like a lot of guys that played decent in that system last year for us are gone now or are left, and we replaced them with guys that didn't really play or got hurt. Like Averett's not playing. Yeah. Yassine's on IR. Hobbs has been in and out, and it's just. I don't know. I agree that our defense is not good whatsoever. I don't necessarily think that because 5 out of the last 7 games we held teams 17 points or less, regardless of them being poor offenses. We still did it. We still have to go out there and do it. So there's a little bit of a scratch on top of the optimism, like underneath, like we can maybe see a little bit, but I think maybe getting these guys more familiar, especially in the secondary, another year.
It's just really scary that Gus Bradley got more out of these guys than Patrick Graham. Like that. That's what's scaring me. And is it because of Patrick Graham? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that's a fact. Like Gus, this defense was better under Gus Bradley, Patrick Graham. We'll see. Bentley the Jet, thank you for the super chat very much. We appreciate you. Soda, I bet you're liking this one. We should trade Hunter Renfrow and use the money on defense. Bad contract. We can get another slot receiver. Is that what we should do?
It's a possibility. I think that it wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing to do. It depends on what we do with the money. we know the we know the person that we have now. And that's the kind of toss up. And it's not like Renfrow is a bad player. Like, let's say, for example, not that he's a bad player, but he just wasn't playing well, was like our old quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not worth the money that we were going to pay him. Is Renfrow a little bit overpaid? Yeah, probably. But again, it's not like he's bad for the team or he's been hurting the team. I think that if he had been healthy, he would have been helping the team quite a bit. But if you're going to do this, you better swing for a big fish.
I would never. I would never. Well, not never. Like, who knows what's going to happen seasons from now? But definitely do not do like an unload and get what we can get type of thing out of Hunter Renfrow. Like, definitely not that. If anything, I'd go to these teams with great defenses and small wide receiver rooms and be like, give us we'll give you Hunter, give us a linebacker, right? Go to Baltimore, go to New England, go to Jets, like these guys that need playmakers but have great defenses. I'd be less like, all right, let's see if we can get a third for him, and more like, let's get a linebacker out of him. Let's get a corner for him. Like, I think if we can get a really good Pro Bowl caliber like linebacker corner, something like that, then I say, okay, we really got to address our defense if we have to lose, and I'd hate to lose them. But none of this like, oh, let's see if we can get a third for him. Like, no, either really help the defense with it or keep them. That's where I'm at. New Year's, this is the game at the beginning of the season where we all kind of agreed, like, damn, this is like a top 3 game to go to. New Year's Day in Las Vegas against the old Bay Area rivals. How many fights do you think were in the stands today?
Not a lot, because it was mostly Niners fans.
That's just to piss off the Raiders fans even more, you know?
I don't think the Raider fans were going to start any trouble today because it was mostly Niner fans there.
Completely outnumbered. Anything else?
I think I'm good, man.
All right. That's it for us. The Raiders fall to the Niners in overtime again, gave up a 10-point lead again, despite Jarrett Stidham coming off the bench, putting up 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 108 QB rating. Brock Purdy played pretty well as well, 22 of 35, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 95 quarterback rating. But in the end, it was Christian McCaffrey just shredding our defense, Brandon Aiyuk shredding our defense. Davante Adams, congratulations, breaking the record for most receiving yards in a single season over Mr. Raider himself, Tim Brown. Very curious to see what Tim Brown's tweets are going to say. I don't know if he's addressed it yet. Josh Jacobs, I think still the rushing leader. He only had 69 yards today. I think still the NFL rushing leader. So hopefully he can keep that title. And we'll salvage some good out of this season. Davante Adams making history. Josh Jacobs making history. Maybe we're finding out something at quarterback, and just again and again and again, pounding into our brains, pounding into the GM's brain, defense, 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 defense. But until then,
For sure, man.
Knock on wood if you're with me.